Do you believe that just one careless step inside a cemetery could open the doorway for wandering spirits to enter your life? Picture this. You carry a bouquet of flowers, believing it's nothing more than a simple visit. Yet in the very instant you utter a casual word or make the smallest gesture, that is when heavy, shadowy energy may cling to you. And it doesn't stop at a few strange dreams. It can turn into unexplained fatigue, streaks of misfortune, or even endless troubles piling up around you. This is not a scare tactic, it is a serious warning. In today's video, I will reveal 3 dangerous mistakes that many people make when visiting a cremation cemetery. Mistakes you must avoid before it's too late. And before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a comment with this affirmation. I am surrounded by protective light and peaceful energy. A cremation cemetery is not simply a place to store ashes or display photographs of the departed. It is a realm charged with invisible energy that ordinary eyes cannot see. Every soul leaving this world carries with it emotions, memories, and its own unique vibration. Some are comforted and at peace. Others remain burdened with grief, regret, or even anger and resentment. When so many energies coexist in a confined space, the atmosphere becomes deeply sensitive and easily unsettled. And not all spirits are benevolent. Some remain bound, unable to move on, seeking connection with the living. Sometimes all it takes is one prolonged glance, one careless word, or even a curious thought, and suddenly you become their anchor. To them, your attention feels like an invitation, prompting them to follow you for comfort, energy, or even as a new place to dwell. For many, this may sound like superstition. Yet in truth, there have been countless cases where people left a cemetery only to face streaks of bad luck, unexplained illnesses, or disturbing dreams that linger. These are not coincidences. They are the results of brushing against unstable layers of energies that then try to fasten themselves to you. That is why a cremation cemetery is never just a place to light incense or lay flowers. It is a powerful spiritual realm where the living and the dead overlap. And if you are not cautious, even the smallest action can turn what seems like an ordinary visit into the beginning of prolonged turmoil. When entering a cremation cemetery, most people carry remembrance and respect for their departed loved ones. But not everyone maintains that focus. There are small, seemingly harmless actions, gestures made out of habit, that in truth serve as keys, opening doors of connection to spirits that do not belong to you. And once that door is open, closing it again is nearly impossible. Here are 3 deadly mistakes that countless people have made without even realizing it, and you must understand them clearly so you never repeat the same steps. Mistake number 1. Commenting on or pitying strangers among the dead. One of the most dangerous habits is looking at the memorial portraits of others in the cemetery and making casual remarks. It may seem like nothing more than a natural reaction, a sigh of sympathy, or a fleeting thought. But in the spiritual realm, even the most offhand words can become an invisible invitation, calling wandering souls closer to you. Imagine this scene. You walk among countless frames and names of those who have left this world. You see the face of a young man, gone too soon, and whisper, "What a tragedy. Why did he have to leave so early?" Or you pause at the portrait of a woman you never knew and murmur, "She looks so kind and beautiful. What a pity her fate ended like this." To you, these are just harmless words, but to forgotten spirits, those with no visitors, no flowers, no incense, your attention is a precious gift they have long craved. In that very instant, a subtle thread is formed. They may now see you as their anchor. The danger lies in this. You have no idea who you've just called. It may be a gentle soul longing to be remembered, but it could also be a restless entity filled with anger, grief, or unresolved darkness. And if it is the latter, clinging to you becomes not only possible, it becomes likely. The effects often begin subtly. You may dream of unfamiliar faces staring at you, You may wake up unusually exhausted, as if your energy has been drained overnight. Then gradually, the disturbances grow clearer. Small inconveniences escalate into problems. Work faces unexpected setbacks. Relationships encounter tension, and a streak of misfortunes follows you one after another. You may try to explain it rationally, but the root traces back to that one careless moment when you spoke inside the cemetery. The ancients used to say, "Words are seeds sown into the air." And in a spiritually charged environment like a cremation cemetery, words carry even greater weight. A single sigh, a phrase of pity, even a compliment can open a door of connection. And once that door opens, you cannot choose who steps through. That is why when you visit a place of rest, you must keep your attention solely on your loved ones. Offer them your respect, your love, and your gratitude. And avoid making remarks about strangers, because even one seemingly harmless word could become the beginning of a spiritual bond you never intended and would never want. Mistake number 2, sharing food and offerings with strangers' spirits. Many families have the tradition of preparing food, fruit, or wine to offer their departed loved ones. It is an act filled with love and meaning. But some people make a grave mistake. They divide a portion of these offerings and give them to other spirits in the cemetery. Some place fruit on a neighboring niche, thinking, "Let them share." Others whisper, "For anyone who has no one to offer them food, please come and partake." At first, this may sound compassionate, but in the unseen world, it is an extremely dangerous act. In spiritual lore, an offering is never just food, it is an energetic invitation. When you share offerings with unfamiliar spirits, you unknowingly open a thread of connection with them. Forgotten souls, those with no visitors, no rituals, left starving for both attention and sustenance, immediately recognize this signal. And once they have eaten from your hand, they see you as their new source of energy, a presence to cling to. The danger is that you cannot choose who receives your offering. It may be a gentle spirit, simply yearning to be remembered, but it could also be a bitter entity or a soul never able to move on. Once this bond is created, breaking free is far from easy. The consequences are rarely immediate. At first, you may just feel heavy and drained after leaving the cemetery. But soon, strange patterns appear, recurring nightmares, the sense of someone watching you, or glimpses of unfamiliar figures in your dreams. Over time, the negative energy can seep into your family life. Stalled finances, conflicts in relationships, declining health, and a chain of misfortunes that refuses to end. In such a spiritually sensitive environment, misguided kindness becomes a doorway for darkness. That is why you must remember, offerings are only for your own loved ones. When you make an offering, keep your intention pure and focused. Do not divide, do not share with strangers' spirits. Remembrance must be directed to the right place. If you truly wish to show love and gratitude, let it be reserved for your family and ancestors. Because once you share offerings with other spirits, you may have unknowingly signed an invisible contract, a bond that can follow you and haunt you for a very long time. Mistake number 3, bringing anger and resentment. When visiting a cremation cemetery is meant to be a place of remembrance, a sacred space where love, gratitude, and final respect are offered to the departed. It should be a realm of comfort and peace. Yet sadly, many people arrive carrying the opposite: anger, resentment, and bitterness that has never healed. Picture this. A son sits before his father's memorial photo, whispering through tears, "Because of you, my whole life has been nothing but suffering." Or a daughter-in-law stands before her late mother-in-law's altar, her words sharp with pain. "You tormented me while you lived, and even in death, I cannot forgive you." To them, these words may feel like a release of emotion, but in the unseen world, such words pierce like invisible daggers into the soul of the departed. When you sow resentment at a place of rest, the spirit cannot find peace. Instead of receiving respect, they are burdened with more pain. And that negative energy does not disappear, it rebounds, clinging to you. The result? You leave the cemetery feeling heavy, only to carry home a chain of disturbances, unstable moods, disharmony in the family, setbacks at work, and sometimes even sudden accidents. Some have shared that after visits filled with bitterness, they began to experience recurring nightmares. In their dreams, their loved one's face appeared, sad, disappointed, or even angry. By day, they felt drained, heavy, and uneasy, as though being watched. This is not just psychology. It is a sign that dark energy has been activated and bound itself to them. The vital truth to remember is this: a cemetery is not the place to unload your anger. If your heart is still consumed with bitterness, it is better to wait. Visit only when your spirit has calmed, because only when you arrive with love and sincerity will your visit carry true meaning without creating dangerous ties. Love soothes. Anger feeds the shadows. When you enter with a heavy heart, you not only disturb the departed's peace, you open the door for negative energy to step into your life. Remember, their rest is tied to your peace. The 3 mistakes we've discussed may seem small and ordinary: a careless remark, a shared offering, a burst of anger. Such things may appear trivial in daily life, but inside a cremation cemetery, where the veil between the living and the spirit world is thinnest, these seemingly harmless acts can become invisible doorways, inviting negative energy straight in. The frightening truth is this: once that door is open, you cannot control who or what steps through. It may be a lonely spirit seeking comfort, but it may also be a dark entity fueled by anger and unrest. And once it attaches, breaking free is no easy task. It can begin with strange dreams, then grow into prolonged exhaustion, conflict in your family, setbacks at work, and wave after wave of misfortune. This is why you must remain alert and cautious whenever you visit a place of rest. Keep your heart focused on your loved ones. Offer only love, respect, and gratitude to them. Do not comment on strangers. Do not share offerings randomly, and do not carry anger into sacred grounds. A still mind and a sincere heart are the strongest shields you have, protecting you from energies you do not want, and keeping both you and your loved ones at peace. After leaving a cremation cemetery, many people assume everything ends once the incense has been lit and flowers laid down. But the chilling truth is that not everyone walks out alone. Some leave behind small cracks that allow heavy, shadowy energy to latch onto them, and the signs that appear afterward are not coincidences, they are warnings. If you pay close attention, you'll see that the universe always sends signals, reminding you that something is not right. 1. Unusual dreams and recurring nightmares. One of the clearest signs that negative energy has followed you from the cemetery is through strange dreams. At first, it may be just a fleeting dream, but its content is dark, unsettling, and difficult to explain. You might see unfamiliar faces staring at you, find yourself in shadowy places you've never been, or feel the sensation of being chased. If it happens once, you might dismiss it. But when nightmares repeat, night after night, with the same images or the same chilling atmosphere, that is a serious warning. In the realm of spirit, dreams act as gateways between the living and the unseen. When a wandering soul has attached itself to you, it will often try to appear in your dreams, because dreams are where it can most easily send its signals. Do not underestimate recurring nightmares. They may not simply be products of imagination, but signs that you have accidentally opened the door for a spirit to step into your life. 2. The feeling of being watched, or an invisible presence nearby. Have you ever left a cemetery and immediately felt as though you weren't truly alone? As if something unseen was walking right behind you, step for step. At first, it may only feel like a fleeting intuition, a sudden shiver, or the sensation of someone standing directly at your back. But over time, the signs become clearer. Strange noises in an empty house, sudden drafts of cold air, or glimpses of shadowy figures passing where no one is present. In spiritual understanding, this is how spirits reveal their presence. They want you to know they've found you, that you no longer walk alone. When the sense of being watched happens daily, especially at night, it is no longer imagination. It is a sign that an entity has followed you from the cemetery and is silently staying near. 3. Physical exhaustion and unexplained decline in health. Sometimes the clearest warning doesn't show up in dreams or strange feelings, but within your own body. After leaving a cremation cemetery, some people suddenly feel as though they've just endured an illness, even though they did nothing strenuous. Their body feels heavy, their mind foggy, and sleep no longer brings rest or renewal. In spiritual terms, this occurs when life force is being drained. A spirit, or worse, a negative entity, may have latched onto your energy field, slowly siphoning vitality to sustain itself. The results? Frequent minor illnesses, persistent fatigue, or mental decline that conventional medicine struggles to explain. If exhaustion appears suddenly and lingers for days after your visit, treat it as a warning. It may not be just tiredness. It may be the sign that you've brought home an energy beyond your control. 4. A chain of misfortunes. It often begins with small inconveniences. One day you drop your phone. The next, your car breaks down in the middle of the road. Soon after, you find yourself in heated arguments with loved ones over trivial matters. At first, you dismiss these as everyday mishaps. But when they continue without pause, you begin to sense that something unusual has latched onto you. In spiritual understanding, when negative energy clings tightly to you, it weakens your natural luck and opens the door for repeated disruptions. Instead of life flowing smoothly, everything becomes tangled, as though an unseen hand is deliberately interfering. If this string of misfortunes continues, treat it as a serious warning. Its roots may trace back to the cemetery visit, where you unknowingly created a thread of connection that allowed darkness to follow you home. 5. Sudden shifts in emotion and mood. Have you ever felt like you became a different person after visiting a cemetery? The emotions you usually recognize within yourself vanish, replaced by irritability, sadness, or unexplained anxiety. Some describe losing control of their reactions, snapping at family members, or sinking into a hollow emptiness they cannot explain. In spiritual terms, this is a sign that negative energy has penetrated your mind. When a spirit attaches itself to you, it influences not only your physical health, but also your emotions. Slowly, it pulls you off balance, making you feel like a stranger to your own self. If your loved ones begin to notice changes in your behavior, or if you yourself feel your mood spiraling without reason, heed this as a warning, because sometimes the root of your instability does not lie within you, but in a shadow that has followed you from the cremation cemetery. 6. Strange reactions from pets. Many people fail to realize that pets can serve as early warning bells when it comes to negative energy. After a cemetery visit, you may notice your dog suddenly barking at empty space, or your cat consistently avoiding a particular room. Such reactions are rarely random. Spiritually, animals possess heightened senses far beyond human perception. They can detect the presence of spirits or unseen entities that the naked eye cannot. If an unfamiliar energy has trailed behind you, your pets will be the first to respond. They may appear tense, restless, or behave in ways completely unlike their usual selves. That is why, when your pet begins acting strangely right after a cemetery visit, do not ignore it. It may be a subtle warning that you did not return alone, that an unseen presence is now very close. 7. A disturbing presence in your home. Your home is meant to be a sanctuary of safety. Yet sometimes after a cemetery visit, that familiar space begins to feel unsettling. You may hear strange noises in the night, footsteps, soft knocks on the door, even when no one is there. Some people describe the air in their home becoming heavy, sending chills down their spine even with every window shut. In spiritual terms, This is a sign that negative energy has not only followed you, but has also entered your living space. When this happens, the very place meant for rest becomes filled with unease. If you find yourself afraid in your own home, or you frequently sense an invisible presence lingering nearby, take it as a serious warning, for it may mean you did not return alone. You brought back an unseen guest from the cremation cemetery. The signs I've just shared are not meant to frighten you, but to remind you to pay attention to your body, your emotions, your dreams, and even the atmosphere in your home. In the spiritual world, nothing is ever purely random. When multiple unusual phenomena arise at once, it is the universe's way of signaling that negative energy has latched onto you. The key is to recognize these warnings early rather than ignore them. The longer you wait, the stronger the attachment grows, and the harder it becomes to dissolve. Treat recurring nightmares, feelings of being watched, a streak of misfortune, or unsettling changes in your home as messages, signals that the universe is urging you to take action. In the next part, I will share powerful methods to protect yourself and release these negative energies. These steps will be crucial for restoring balance, peace, and the light of positivity back into your life. After every visit to a cremation cemetery, many people carry home a heavy feeling without knowing why. Some assume it's simply the sadness of remembering the departed, but the truth can be different. Along with the memories, they may have brought back an unfamiliar energy. If not cleansed, that energy can cling to you, gradually affecting your mind, body, and even your luck. That's why it is crucial to know how to protect yourself before the darkness takes root too deeply. The first action you should think of is cleansing. Just as you shower to wash away dirt, your body and soul also need purification after being exposed to a spiritually sensitive place. Washing your hands, rinsing your face, or taking a full shower as soon as you return home is more than hygiene. It's a symbolic ritual of cutting invisible ties with the other side. If you add a little sea salt or natural essential oils, you'll feel even more refreshed and purified. But cleansing the outside is not enough. You must also guard the energy within. Prayer and positive affirmations are the keys. When you whisper that you are surrounded by light and peace, you are building an invisible wall of protection around yourself. The power doesn't come from the words, but from the belief you put into them. And sometimes, not every spirit that follows you intends harm. Some are simply lost, searching for an anchor. Instead of letting fear overwhelm you, you can send a gentle message, wishing them to find peace and light soon. In doing so, you protect yourself while also helping them release their hold and move on in their journey. The real strength to dissolve darkness lies within you. An anxious mind can unknowingly attract more negativity, while a heart filled with love and gratitude radiates a light strong enough to dispel it. Just a few minutes of sitting quietly, breathing deeply, or keeping your thoughts positive can create a natural shield no dark force can easily penetrate. And remember, you are never alone. If the heavy feeling still lingers despite your efforts, do not hesitate to seek guidance from spiritual practitioners or a faith tradition you trust. Sometimes outside support is the key to breaking free from bonds that have grown too strong. Cleansing negative energy is not some distant or mystical concept. It is well within your reach, beginning with cleanliness, belief, and a steady heart. When you know how to protect yourself, you will regain balance and build an invisible shield that ensures the darkness no longer has a chance to return. We have just uncovered the hidden truths of cremation cemeteries, the places where the veil between the living and the unseen becomes thinnest. You now know that small, seemingly harmless mistakes can open the door for negative energy to enter. You've also learned to recognize the warning signs when a spirit or entity lingers near, and, most importantly, you've gained simple yet powerful ways to cleanse and protect yourself. What you must remember is this: you are never powerless. Negative energy may try to creep into your life, but the light of faith, awareness, and love is always stronger than the darkness. By keeping a positive mind, a peaceful heart, and by caring for both your body and your energy, you create an invisible shield that protects you and your family. If you found this message valuable, please subscribe so you won't miss the upcoming guidance. And before you leave, I invite you to affirm aloud, I am opening the door for light and peace to flow into my life. This simple act connects you, right now, to the source of goodness and protection that the universe has always been ready to send your way.